Hi everyone, this is Teacher Jen from Camglish.com and welcome to another fun and exciting lesson from Exploring English Book 6 by Tim Harris and Alan Rowe. Today we are going to start our lesson on this page, and this is a reading activity. I'm going to read the following. I want you to listen and look at the pictures at the same time. Please take note of the correct pronunciation, okay? Let's start. Dr. Pasto was standing on the front porch of his house. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and Dr. Pasto was whistling as he watered his flowers. Ann Jones came walking up the sidewalk leading to the porch. She looked nervous and upset. Dr. Pasto, she called, I need to speak to you. Do you have a few minutes? Of course, Anne, replied Dr. Pasto. I always have time to talk to good friends. Come up and have a nice cold glass of lemonade. Anne started up the steps. On the way, she stumbled and bumped her knee. Then she burst into tears. Oh, Dr. Pasto, she cried, I'm so clumsy and awkward and useless. Sometimes I wish I had never been born. Now, Anne, said Dr. Pasto, we all have our bad moments, but it's a crime to be sad on a day like today. Why don't you tell me your problems? Perhaps I can help you. Anne's hand was shaking as she accepted a glass of lemonade from Dr. Pasto. It slipped from her hand and fell to the floor. Pieces of glass and ice and drops of lemonade flew everywhere. Anne began to cry even harder. That's part of the problem, Dr. Pasto, she said. Everything I touch falls apart or breaks. I can't do anything right. Well, Anne, said Dr. Pasto, experience has shown me that being clumsy or accident-prone is not usually a problem in itself, but a symptom of a deeper problem or difficulty. What is it that's upsetting you, Anne? Well, Dr. Pasto, said Anne, drying her tears, I can't stand my job. It makes me feel so frustrated. There's never anything interesting to do, and when there is, Mr. Bascom never lets me do it. He has Barbara do all the important work. Can you give me an example, Anne? Yes, just yesterday, for instance, Mr. Bascom called me into his office and started dictating a speech he was going to give at the Founders Club. There was very little time, and he kept looking over my shoulder, which made me very uncomfortable. I made a lot of mistakes, and Mr. Bascom got upset with me. He said that I was a lousy secretary. Naturally, I felt terrible, Dr. Pasto. He always makes me do the uninteresting, routine work, and when he finally lets me do something important, I make a mess of it. I see, said Dr. Pasto. You're clumsy and you break things because you're nervous, and you're nervous because you're dissatisfied with your job. Is it just Mr. Bascom you don't like, or don't you like being a secretary? Actually, I guess Mr. Bascom is all right, replied Anne. The trouble is, with me, I wish I'd never become a secretary. Well, some people aren't suited for some jobs, Anne, and it's foolish to go against your nature. Now tell me, what would you really like to do? Anne blushed and hesitated. Well, she said, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'd really like to be a professional singer. I see nothing ridiculous in that, Anne, said Dr. Pasto. I know you have a beautiful voice. The question is, do you have the courage to follow your dream? I don't know, Dr. Pasto. It's such a struggle. I don't even know how to begin. Listen, Anne. Nothing in life that is really worthwhile comes easily. If you want to succeed, you have to take risks. Be bold and courageous. When you look back on your life, you'll regret the things you didn't do more than the things you did. Anne nodded silently. Dr. Pasto continued. I have some friends in Hollywood who are in the entertainment business. I'm sure they'd be happy to arrange an audition for you. Anne started to smile. Oh, Dr. Pasto, if only I'd talked to you before. You're so wonderful. I feel my whole life is going to be different from now on. I'm going to give you a big kiss. Anne was about to throw her arms around Dr. Pasto when she bumped into the table, causing the pitcher of lemonade to fall on the floor and break. Anne looked worried, but Dr. Pasto smiled. Never mind, Anne. After all, it takes more than a few minutes to change your life. Thank you for listening. Now I want you to read the story on your own. You can pause this video for a while, then take your time to read. Okay, now when you're done reading, please press play so that we can continue on our lesson. This is the end of our lesson. I hope you learned something. This is Teacher Jen from camkush.com saying goodbye and see you on our next video. Goodbye!